I think it's great. I remember you all like bonding after in CJ and kind of like working together throughout that. And I love that like you all ended up working in the same place. I think it's such a great story. I would love for you all to share a little bit about like the difference between how you felt going into that first job versus how you feel now, and maybe even some similarities, right? Like I like to share when we do the CJ, post CJ calls, that like imposter syndrome is like forever, like it's you feel it in a certain way when you're starting out, and then sometimes you're starting your second, third, fourth job and you still feel it in a different way. And it's less about like being prepared for the job and more about like that little voice in your head that like you can never kind of get rid of. But yeah, if y'all can share maybe like how you were feeling when you were breaking into the industry, that first job, versus how you're, feeling or doing now, year and a half later.
Yeah, I think jumping into my first job when I first got hired at Skipline, I was very hesitant. Imposter syndrome was very real. I was doing a lot of kind of double checking myself as far as how were my like Figma skills. I think that was one area that maybe I wasn't quite as comfortable with getting started. And so I spent a lot of time kind of growing on that side of things. But as the only designer coming in, I felt maybe like it would have been nice to have another designer with more experience to learn from, but at the same time, nobody else in the entire company knew UX. And so I was the expert. Whether I thought I was the expert or not, at the end of the day, I still knew more than everyone else did. And so I think that kind of gives you a big boost in confidence, because at the end of the day, you still know more than they do. So even if you're not an expert, you are in their eyes.
Yeah, I'd say at my first job, I was probably more confident because there was some carryover from my like previous experience before moving into design. So I felt validated and what I was saying was true. But I was like strictly UX. So I did wireframes and I handed it off to a designer who made it look really pretty, which was great. But has come back to bite me at my new position because now I have Sammy, thankfully. But like I truly love the UX side of things. So I don't know, my imposter syndrome is stronger now than it was at my first job.
Yeah.
Plus there's less at our current job. Like I was at a big company and now I'm at I don't know, there's like 12 of us maybe total.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense.